Afternoon all, hope you're well. Well, a few weeks ago I showed you how to repair a nylon fishing net or ferreting net. In the case I done, actually repaired one of my old ferreting nets. The old long nets was damaged, had been chewed through by a rabbit. But I didn't show you was how to replace or repair the top line. You look here, obviously the rabbit chewed this mesh and I've repaired the mesh. But now I've had to do an overhand knot in the top line. And the problem with that is obviously the mesh wouldn't flow over at that catch. So I'm going to show you a quick, easy way how to repair this or replace the whole length between the two. As I was saying, what you can do is just repair this section here. I can get rid of that knot and repair it and that'll be fine. But if you lost a whole section out of it, like a foot or two, has been chewed in a couple of places or badly damaged, you need to replace between the two poles. And this is slightly different, but done this very similar sort of way. That's a lot easier than I've seen other methods. Because the problem is you don't want any knots. Any knots like this will catch. Even if you've got knots on these poles here at the top, they'll catch. And people who tie knots on the poles, or apart from the end one, tie knots that catch on the intermediate poles in rigging long nets properly, because they catch and that's so frustrating. They catch all the time. Like there's a little long nets I bought a couple of years ago and they had overhand knots on all the poles. Well, they were catching all the time, so in the end I ripped off all the nylon and replaced it all. Because like this nylon, I think this is about 2 or 3 mil, but that's the maximum you need. Some of these nets I've seen have got 4, 5, 6 mil nylon on it. Well, why do you want 6 mil braided nylon? You want them to be lightweight and thin. You don't need that huge thick nylon. That just shows you whoever rigged them don't really know what they're doing, because the strength in this is unbelievable. Nothing's ever going to snap it. This is what I normally use when I rig them from fresh. I use like 1.2 or 1.5 mil nylon braid. This is also what I use for rigging fishing nets, like my herring nets and that sort of thing, or bass nets or whatever, or sole nets. I use this to rig the top line, and that's perfectly, just really strong. You can't bust it with your hands, and that's thin. You don't need anything longer than that for the old nets for ferreting. You're catching rabbits, not Tyrannosaurus Rex running through it. Well, the method I'm going to show you today is heat bonding or heat splicing. I just cut 2 separate little bits. If you've never ever done it before, that might be nice just to get a couple of bits just to practice on a few times. But it's ever so easy to do. Within 2 or 3 goes you get the knack on it. Basically you just butt welding or splicing the braid together. Obviously that's nylon that readily melt, and it's ever so easy to splice. Basically all you're doing is you get the 2 ends, heating them up over the candle. You can get someone else to hold the lighter for you, and all you do, once the ends are blobbed, all you do is just then push them together and let it cool, and they'll be spliced, and you won't believe the strength they are. That's a quick method of doing it in the middle of the poles, like where I was. I got the top line's been broken in the middle of the poles, so I'll now show you how to do it this way. But I'm now going to show you the heat bonding or splicing method. It's ever so easy to do, really. It'll take a couple of goes to get good at it, but I'm going to show you in 2 parts, so it's a lot more easier to understand. All you do is get your 2 bits of nylon, obviously cut the ends flush. You put it near your flame, your tea light, let the ends heat up and boil over, then you push them together and let it cool. See, look, that's now bonded together. The only problem is, you can see it in the light, you've got them ridges each side. Well, they'll catch. So if you look glorified on the paper, that's like that. And you've got them 2 glued together ridges. So obviously, when the meshes run up and down, that'll catch. So you don't want that. But the thing is, that is very strong. You look at it, I'll put my hands there and I'll pull it as hard as I can, and I can't snap it. So that proves how strong it is. It's only a little 1.2mm braid, but that proves that's pretty bloody strong. So for obviously ferret nets, where you can't have that ridge on it, this is the other way you do it. Heat up the ends, push them together, then roll them in your finger. Careful not to burn yourself. You see there, your fingers are pushed over the metal edge, the plastic molten edges, so it's then flush. So the ferret nets will run up and down it ever so easy. Look at that, easy peasy, that's lovely and neat. Perfect, isn't it? See that? The diameter ain't no more than the usual 1.2mm braid. So that's the easiest way to repair it. See, you know when you've done it right. It can be a bit, once you've heated it and rolled it, leave it for 5 minutes to fully cool down. You don't get a true reading of the strength until you let it cool for 3 or 4 minutes. But obviously, you see that's near a tiny little joint, hardly notice it. Then you can get it, put it in your hands and pull it, and I can't break it. If you've done it right, you can pull it as much as you can and that won't break. So it's a perfect joint, isn't it? Lovely. Well, the thing is, on your ferret nets, obviously you got the pole, and another pole, and you got the top line between them. Obviously that's snapped, and I've bonded it together. But sometimes if you lose a bit, or knacked in a few other places, then you're gonna have to place the whole lot. Well, normally these are put 5 yards apart. So the way to do it is you do a join like this inside that knot, because all they are is clove hitches there and there. So obviously they're grommets, they're the plastic grommets. So obviously all you got is a clove hitch in that grommet. So what you do is you basically join it like this, do 1/2 hitch, then the other 1/2 hitch, and then cross them over and put that on top of the grommet, so the knot is inside the clove hitch. And then 5 yards later you do the same. Easy knot. All you do, you go over, make a loop, do another loop and cross them, and then you put that the other side and pull tight. See? And that's how you replace the top and bottom line, or repair it, on your ferret and long nets. Simple really, isn't it? Well, after repairing them few holes and repairing that top line knot, they're all good for another season. Alright, unfortunately with the issues I had, I won't be using them again until next season, but at least I know they're all repaired and ready to go. See, they're ever so easy to repair. Doesn't take long if you know what you're doing. Alright then, cheers for watching, hope you enjoyed it. Catch you later, bye.